Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week we read Parasha Vayetzei, which means and he left. And it starts when Jacob left Beersheba. He left his family's home, his father Isaac and Rivka's home. After he took the blessing that was intended for Esau, he tricked his father and he was blessed instead of his brother. His mother Rivka was scared that his brother Esau would kill him, and she sent him away to find a wife in the land of Haran, where her brother Laban lived and had some daughters, and he sent him there to look for a wife. So this parasha is a very interesting parasha. It begins with Jacob leaving the cocoon of his life, his very secluded, private and comfortable, protected life. He lived in a household where miracles were seen every day and where he felt the protection of Hashem since the minute he woke up till the minute he went to sleep. And suddenly this very perfect yeshiva boy is thrown into the world. And today maybe we don't relate to this type of life so much as it was in the olden days, when people lived in a more bubble type of life where they were more protected, and then they had to go out into the world and confront all the vicissitudes and dangers of the world. Today we see it with young kids that leave their home and go to college campuses where they're accosted with all these hatred and free speech things and BDS movements and anti-Israel movements and anti-Semitism, and they're going from a protected place into a place where they have to really learn to defend themselves and struggle in life. And this is the life of a Jew. Everybody goes through it. We can live in a very private, secluded and harmonious place, but eventually it catches up with us, and we have to encounter all these Esavs and Labans in our life, from which we have to learn how to defend who we are. So this is what happened to Jacob, and he left the house of his parents and he went to the land of Haran, and in his way he stopped in the yeshiva of Shem and Ever, where he spent 14 years of his life learning Torah and preparing himself and getting strong spiritually to be able to go into the world and fight all this crookedness that he was gonna encounter. So we see here also that that this is the life of every Jew. This is how all of us are confronted, and we have to learn how to struggle in life, and this is what the name of Jacob represents. Eventually in the next parasha, when he fights with the angel, his name is gonna become Israel. And we see how when we learn the Torah, when the Torah names him as Jacob, Jacob means struggle. It's a person that is struggling in life, that has to fight his inner battles and outward battles. But when he's named after Israel, then this is a person that has conquered. And this is the history of the Jewish people. We're always struggling, we're always defending ourselves, but it comes to a point where we become Israel, where we have conquered our battles. So we see here that it says in the first pasuk of the parasha that Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. He stopped at the particular place and spent the night there. Because the sun had set, he took some stones from the place and placed them around his head and laid down to sleep in the place. And he had a dream. He then dreamed that there was a ladder. There was a ladder fixed to the ground with its top reaching up to the heavens. And there were angels of God ascending and descending, and the Eternal was there standing over him. And he said, I am the Eternal, the God of Abraham, your grandfather, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you are lying I will give to you and to your descendants. So this is the dream, the famous dream that Jacob had, Jacob's ladder dream. And Rashi explains that the angels were going up and down. How can this be that the angels were going up and down? The normal would be that the angels would be coming down and then up. So there's many explanations. Rashi explains that the angels that were going up were the angels that had accompanied him in the land of Israel, and now that he was leaving the land of Israel, these angels were going back to heaven, and then the new angels that were going to go with him through his journey were coming down to accompany him. There's another explanation that explains that the angels were bringing down the blessings for Jacob. What it means is that when we do mitzvahs, the mitzvahs we do create angels. And these angels themselves, they go up and they bring down the blessings that the mitzvahs generate. And here, Rabbi Yatin Steinsvals gives us a beautiful explanation that I had never heard before. And he says that the angels of God were ascending and descending. And he's describing angels going up and down on the ladder or on Jacob himself. And according to the interpretation that they were ascending and descending on Jacob, the meaning is that they were exalting him but also degrading him. What it meant was that when they went up, they saw the potential Jacob in heaven, because there's two of us. There's one that is here, there's the actual person, you and me and everybody else. We have an actual persona, that's who we are at this moment. But in heaven, there's the potential of who we should become. This is who we're meant to be. And that potential is up there. So the problem is that when we live here and we don't think about these things, we live a life where everything goes. We wake up, we have our coffee, we go to the gym, we go to work. We're all focused on ourselves, on our lives. Maybe someone has a problem, we'll help them a little bit. But we're mostly self-centered human beings, and we're thinking about ourselves. We're not thinking about anybody else. But in the perfected world, we should be thinking about other people. We should be worrying about other people. We should be caring about other people. And this is our potential persona. This is the person that we're meant to become. So here these angels stand beside Jacob, leap on him, pinch him, and abuse him, and asking, "Is this you, Jacob, whose image is found up in heaven? And here you are sleeping. Is this what you do down here in the world?" The angels ascend and descend, and Jacob turns over to his other side and continues sleeping. So this is an analogy of life, of us, that we really lose track of who we should be, of what we should be aiming to be, that who we are right now is not who we should be. We should always be striving to be better and better and better, and not sleeping in the world. Most people sleepwalk in this world, and really we're in the month of Kislev. The month of Kislev is a month of vision, of light, of illumination, in which we should be looking forward. We should be looking more than what we are. We should be envisioning the person we should become. So here it says, but the reality is that his image is engraved under the throne of glory, and as a result there is more that is demanded of him. He is more than what he thinks he is. And Hashem has him to a higher standard. So like when you have a child, and this child is very intelligent, and you know he could do very good in school, but you know what? He prefers to watch TV all day and play games and not do his homework. So you get very upset at this child. Why? Because you hold him in a very high standard. You know that he has a potential that he can achieve, but because of his laziness or his addiction to TV, he is not doing what he's supposed to do. So this is the same with us. And Jacob does not just represent the Jewish people. He's also just one of men who leaves home and must now find his way in the world. And this, Jacob must recognize the pinnacle of existence, the uppermost limit that he must touch. So all of us in this world should be focused on what is our pinnacle, what is our potential, what is expected of us, what is our responsibility in this world. And it says here in Parasha Vayetzei that this parasha really is the story of our lives as human beings, our lives as Jacob's descendants. Everybody has a potential. Everybody has struggles. Everybody has to go to different places. Everybody has to get out of their comfort zone. We're not always living in a bubble. And this is what it tells us. So Jacob beholds a vision of a ladder, one end reaching to the sky, and the other end is set on the ground, and can only discern and recognize the meaning of the vision when he leaves his parental home. And this vision of the ladder only makes sense in the context of the outside world. So only when he left the house of his parents and he's in the outside world where he has to struggle and he has to deal with everything that's coming to him, that's when he can come to recognize that life is just not a comfortable place. This is a place of growth, and this is a place of expansion and doing. And that's when you come to realize who you really are. I've seen kids that come from very secular backgrounds, and they go to college campuses, and when they're confronted with the BDS movement and all this anti-Israel rhetoric and anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, suddenly a part of them is touched that they had never felt. And it's their Jewishness, it's their neshama, and they're touched there. And once they're touched there, then they get angry, and then they go to the Chabad house or the Hillel house, and they start keeping Shabbat, and they start keeping kosher, and they start doing things that they never did. Why? Because they are confronted with their potential when they are accosted by all these horrible things around them. So the Talmud states the entire world was created only as a company for this person. What it's saying is that the whole world was created just for you. Every person, the whole world was created for him. And every person has something to give to the world. You don't have to be a famous person to do a lot. You can do things in a little way, befriend someone that needs a friend, be an example to others, be a role model with your kindness, with your love, with the way you behave. And in this way, you start transforming people around you, even without noticing. Because people see people that are like this, they want to be like that, they want to emulate this type of people. So what is required of man is that his image down here is equal to his image up there. That the image below should correspond to the image above, and the image that is engraved on high, this is a very difficult, demanding and thing to do, but actually we have the potential to do it, and Hashem is not going to ask from us things that we cannot do, that are impossible for us. So we have to work very hard on this, and to be acknowledge it, and to be aware of it, to understand that we cannot be mediocre people. We cannot be mediocre in life. We need to really live up to who we are. We need to learn about who we are, understand who we are, understand what is our responsibility in the world, what is our job here, what is the purpose here, what is the whole idea of life and meaning and purpose and living, and to take it to heart and soul without stopping for even one moment. Even they ask if this is Israel in whom I will be glorified. So as I said before, you have a Jacob and you have an Israel. You have a Jacob is in you, is that person that is always struggling, that is battling, that wants to refine himself, that wants to grow, that has to become the person he has to become. And once you're there, then you become an Israel that is a person that has conquered. So this matter depends neither on the luminaries of Israel nor on the tzaddikim of the generations, neither on your great sages or your great-grandparents or the leaders of the nation. It really depends on every Jewish man and woman in this world. And after years of spiritual work steps outside for the first time, and we are thrown into this world, we realize that there's something more to our lives, that there's more to it. And he begins to see how the whole world hangs in a balance over him, and how all existence hinges on him. And really, it's a little scary, because you realize how responsible you are for everybody. Like, everybody's connected. So if one person is not doing what he should be doing, everybody's hurting from that. And if one person is doing what he should be doing, everybody's benefiting from that. So although, like the ladder in Jacob's dream, his feet stand on actual ground, perhaps even entrenched in the earth, his head reaches up towards heaven, and there alone is the limit. So we should always be grounded. We have to understand we're in this world, we're in the material world, this is a journey, this is the place to do what we have to do, this is the place, and here we have the time. But our head should always strive to go up to heaven and look where we're going, and living up to who we should really be. So I want to wish you a beautiful week, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.